You already inherently know all this stuff. What's activating it, right, is simply the fact that we're saying it in a very specific way. A very specific way. And that specificity, that codification is challenging you into becoming aware of what you sometimes aren't aware of, what you believe and like what you've been operating on, right? So it's giving you something, I guess, I always think about, when you're a kid, sometimes you're by yourself, right? You go to the park and you bounce a ball off the wall because there's nobody to play with, right? The black belt mind is the wall. Okay. And it's not a wall that's a barrier. It's not a wall that's a limitation or protection. It's just a thing you can bounce stuff off of. And then you can sort of realize like, oh, well, I'm actually pretty good at bouncing a ball. I'm pretty good at reacting to where a ball bounces, because you're realizing that the most powerful level of play and engagement that you can ever experience, okay, occurs with yourself first. And that's a powerful thing to reconnect to, because it reminds you of how important it is to value your own thoughts and feelings. Right? Not more than anybody else or anybody else's, and not at the expense of anybody else. But it also reminds you to realize that, hey, wait a second. If I'm enjoying the engagement of being my own thought generator, and I don't want to take that away from anyone else or impair their ability to do that, then, hey, maybe I have a right for them to not do it to me. Huh. That's maybe kind of a neat thing to think about. Because then you can become your own advocate.
What is a place where your innocence has power that you haven't been encouraged to explore or focus on? What were you excited about as a child that you no longer do a lot of because you were discouraged about it, or you were discouraged to do it? And that can be hobbies, that can be work, that can be language, that can be liking the kid down the street. It doesn't matter what it is. Where are the edges of that innocence? Where are the parameters of that innocence that you didn't know?
Another way to think of that, okay? Because sometimes it can hit you in some ways that are going to make you feel some pretty deep stuff. And that's okay. Be gentle on yourself about that. Be easy on yourself about that. And know that it's okay to have those moments to yourself and not have to feel the pressure to understand them all, or even share them with anybody, right? Think about too, in your contemplation of innocence, and again, it's really simple. Where do you think you might have made a mistake, or could you make a mistake simply because of a harmless lack of knowledge? Right? Because remember, keep that definition alive. Innocence is a harmless lack of knowledge. So if you make a mistake, or you've made a mistake, or you're mulling over a mistake that you made, that you're like, oh, I got really mistake, use that, right? Contemplate the possibility for yourself, and it's all about you, which is awesome. You get full permission for it to be all about you, okay? and you don't even have to share it with anyone or tell anybody about it. You know why? Because it's all about you, okay? Use that idea of, okay, well, I made a mistake. Oh, I can't make mistakes. I'm not allowed to make mistakes. I have to be perfect. Mistakes are terrible. If I make a mistake, I'm going to die. If I make a mistake, I'm going to get fired, or people are going to hate me. But contemplate the idea that, okay, well, maybe I made that mistake because of a harmless lack of knowledge, right? In other words, I didn't know what I didn't know, okay? And that's why I made that mistake, okay? Play with that. Contemplate that. Kick that around. Think about it as much as you possibly can. And this is the beauty of this kind of homework, is because we want you to get back out into your lives, right? Go back out into the world and do your thing, do your stuff, okay? But let this kind of run around in the background. And what's going to happen is you're going to find some times where you're hyper conscious of these things and you're going to be really thinking about them. And then other times, and this is where sometimes the most profound awareness comes from, because the black belt mind is also a mindfulness practice. You're going to not be thinking about it at all, right? Because you're too busy. Life is demanding your attention. And then in the midst of that busyness, when you're feeling overwhelmed and like, oh, I'm about to wring everybody's neck or jump off a bridge myself, it's going to hit you and you're going to go, oh, am I feeling this way because of a harmless lack of knowledge? Maybe is that what's going on? So we're really, really, really super excited for you guys. One, just because it's awesome for you to be here with us. And two, because you're starting on a really powerful journey that I can guarantee you, if you put the work into it and put some focus on it, some special attention on it, it's going to yield you nothing but benefit. Because you're going to understand more about who you are, who you really are. Not who people tell you you are, not who you think you should be, but who you really actually are. Best gift you can give yourself.
And takes the shame and the blame out of it, right?
It's all about the application, right? There's more value in your learning if you're out there in the world applying these things, okay, and you get tripped up for a second in a real situation that you want some input on, or you want some feedback or some clarification on, or you simply want some encouragement on. You're going to learn more from that, okay, than you learn from anything I say. Right? And that's not that I'm saying that what we're saying doesn't have value and isn't important, but it's not as important as you out there doing stuff in the real world in real time at real speed.